Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. And before I go on, I want to thank everyone watching on YouTube and everyone watching for the first time on IGTV. IGTV is now the second home of the Comic Hero Show, and don't worry, for all you folks that are watching from YouTube, this is not going to change anything. You're still watching it from here, and you're always going to watch it from here. But to everyone on IGTV, welcome. Alright, now the summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode, I'm paying tribute to those wacky space explorers of the Marvel Universe, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And this is the Guardians of the Galaxy comic hero team. Inside the speech bubble, you have all these awesome stars, this kind of cosmic background, and then I have the logos on both sleeves, and to go along with it, this Guardians of the Galaxy hat. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy, some of the popular characters that are in the book, of course, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot. But there have been other characters. At one point, Iron Man was a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's actually how I got hooked on the series, when he became a member. But his tenure with them didn't last very long. And then this guy right here, The Thing, was even a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy at a point where half the Fantastic Four was presumed dead. And then there have been other members: Captain Marvel, Marvel Boy, Moon Dragon. And here's the one thing that a lot of folks don't know. When the book first started 50 years ago, Yondu was a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I know you're thinking, you watched the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies from 2014 and 2017, you probably assume that Yondu was a villain and an anti-hero. Wrong. Well, that's in the movie, but in the comics, which tells the real story, or the true story, Yondu was a founding member of the Guardians. And I really love this group. I mean, they're dysfunctional, but they get the job done, and with a little comedy on the side. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked, what was the name of the Dick Grayson Robbins Family Circus Act? Well, the correct answer were the Flying Graysons. And 8 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Alicia Plumley from Haynesville, Louisiana. So congratulations, Alicia. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Punisher question. Which Marvel character does the Punisher not only refuse to fight, but also refuses to defend himself against? Now, here are a few hints. This character was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in 1941. This character in the big screen was played by Chris Evans. And then the third and final hint, the Punisher also took the mantle of this character briefly after the original had somewhat died. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on this week's episode of the show. Well, next week's episode of the show, rather. All right, now, Usually the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight are reserved for viewers. But every once in a while, I like to come up with one, and this one features a former sidekick who was thought to have been dead, going up another former sidekick who was thought to have been dead. Representing DC, we have the Red Hood. And representing Marvel, we have the Winter Soldier. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's the Red Hood versus the Winter Soldier. The Red Hood is an expert marksman and expert tactician, expert martial artist, and adept hand-to-hand combatant who utilizes high-tech equipment and weapons and possesses enhanced strength, speed, and durability due to exposure to the Lazarus Pit. The Winter Soldier is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant, expert marksman, advanced scout, is skilled in use of military weapons and throwing knives, and is a skilled assassin and spy. With his cybernetic left arm, he possesses superhuman strength, enhanced reaction time, energy projection, EMP discharger, and a holographic projector. Who will win? The Red Hood isn't as disciplined as the Winter Soldier, so he'd strike first. He unloaded his full arsenal on the Winter Soldier, but the latter would block each shot with his cybernetic arm. The Winter Soldier would then do the same against the Red Hood, but the latter would use his enhanced speed to avoid each shot. The fight then becomes hand-to-hand combat. After minutes of punches and kicks, the Winter Soldier tries to play a dirty trick on the Red Hood by using the holographic projector in his cybernetic arm to create a hologram of Batman. The Red Hood immediately stops fighting the Winter Soldier and gives the latter an opening he needs. Suddenly, the Winter Soldier hears a beeping noise on his cybernetic arm. It's a bomb that the Red Hood plants seconds before that explodes, causing the Winter Soldier's cybernetic arm to come off. Just as the Red Hood comes over to deliver the final blow, the Winter Soldier grabs a knife and slits the former's throat. The Winter Soldier wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that fight, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are two things I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and the first one is I recently got caught up with reading the miniseries from DC called Event Leviathan. And, now this is a 6-part mystery thriller, and it was written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Alex Maleev, and let me tell you, this, I mean, every issue was, when you thought you figured things out, then the very next issue told you otherwise. And, now Leviathan is this character who has been who has been the part of the DC universe for some time, and Batman, Lois Lane, The Question, Plastic Man, Superman, Robin, Detective Harvey Bullock, and several others. Some of the most keen detective minds in DC have all gotten together, and they're trying to figure out who Leviathan is. Now, Leviathan was responsible for the destruction of a lot of government-funded organizations being destroyed. Spiral was one of them. The DEO was another, and we find out that Leviathan wanted to do this in order so there wouldn't be any more secrets in the world, whether they be government, federal, corporate, what have you. And he's pretty much, he or she rather, is the, I'll let you know who Leviathan is in a second, but he pretty much doesn't want any more secrets to be hidden. He or she wants everything out in the open. And while this is going on, all these detectives are trying to figure out who Leviathan is. And then there's another group of detectives that come around, and they're trying to figure out the same thing. But the identity of Leviathan is Mark Shaw, who is the first Manhunter in the DC universe. or the first Earth Manhunter in the DC universe. Now, of course, the Manhunters were, preceded the Green Lantern Corps, and just a lot of things. At one point before Mark Shaw was revealed to have been Leviathan, characters like Amanda Waller was thought to have been Leviathan. Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's love interest, was thought to have been Leviathan. Even Batgirl Barbara Gordon at one point was thought to be Leviathan, but it turned out to be Mark Shaw. And then at the very end of the last issue, which is number 6, we find out that Leviathan and the Guardian had this unholy alliance. And this isn't the last that we've seen of Mark Shaw's Leviathan. He's actually going to return in the pages of Action Comics later on with Leviathan Dawn. And I'm very excited about that. I mean, DC should really come up with a lot of miniseries, or rather a lot of monthly books just like this. And, it could either be in any of their line of books, the regular line, the Young Animal line, or the Black Label line. And if they do, I'll definitely read. All right, now the second thing is that for the first time ever in comics, Batman and Batman Beyond will meet for the first time. And this actually is the fault of one of the most of DC's resident time traveling character who sometimes messes up the timeline, Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold has already done this before with Batman, and he did this as a wedding present for when, or as an early wedding present for when Batman almost married Catwoman. He goes back in time and he prevents Joe Chill from murdering his parents. But what Booster Gold doesn't realize is by doing this, there's no Batman. And he disrupts the entire timeline. Even Duke Thomas, who now goes by the Signal, is now has suffered like developmental disabilities, all because this happened. I mean, it was a ripple effect that has affected so much in the DC universe, all because Booster Gold does this. And he does this again. And I'm kind of excited about reading this because Batman and Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis meeting each other for the first time. I mean, how can you say no to that? Although it's at the hands of Booster Gold. I mean, Booster Gold has been always been that character that no matter how cool he may seem, he can be very annoying, and a lot of times he can be annoying just by going into time and messing things up. But one thing about this, I can't wait to read this. Now I'm thinking this is probably going to happen after the conclusion of the Joker War story arc going on, that's about to start in Batman and Detective Comics, and also going to serve, and also all these other. There are going to be other books that are part of the Bat family. They're going to serve as tie-ins to the story arc. But even though Booster Gold messes this up, can't wait to read. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 44. Aquaman number 61. Avengers number 34. Captain Marvel number 17. Catwoman number 23. Dark Knight's Death Metal number 2. Really excited about this. Empire number 1. Fantastic Four number 21. Oh, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is Wolverine and Spider-Man fighting alongside Franklin and Valeria Richards, aka Powerhouse and Brainstorm. It's also an Empire Titan, by the way. Alright. Guardians of the Galaxy number 4. The Immortal Hulk number 35. Justice League number 49. Metal Men number 8. Teen Titans number 43. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 106. Venom number 26. And finally, X-Men Free Comic Book Day. Alright, that's 16, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 10,085. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which Marvel character does the Punisher not only refuse to fight, but also refuses to defend himself against? Now, here are the hints. First hint, this character was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in 1941. The second hint, this character is also a mantle that the Punisher took on when the original identity of this character was presumed dead. And then the final hint, Chris Evans played this character on the big screen. And also I didn't. This is another clue that I didn't that I forgot to announce, but. Alright, I forgot to say, but the final hint, in the cartoon, Roger Craig Smith currently plays the role of this character. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Alicia Plumley from Haynesville, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Alright, Summer of Superheroes rolls on next week, and I'm going to wear a Flash comic hero tee. Now, of course, the Flash, the fastest man alive, one of my favorite characters in comics. Car-carrying member of the Justice League, and of course Grant Gustin plays him on the small screen, and fastest man alive. What more can I say? And I also announced this at the end of last week's episode. I'm giving away free Comic Hero T mask. So and they're also $5. So if you want your own Comic Hero T mask, please let me know, and I'll make it happen. Because, we're still in this pandemic. Still a long way to go until the curve is flattened. And I think we just need to practice social distancing, folks. I mean, doing the right thing isn't hard. And if we just keep doing the right thing, we keep practicing social distancing, if we wear a mask when we're in public, and even if we're not comfortable with going out, we stay at home, the faster we can get through this. Because COVID-19 is very real. It's not a political thing. I mean, some folks think that just because this is an election year that someone made this up. It's not fake. It's real, and it is. And a lot of folks have tested positive for this, and then some other folks have actually died from this. And I think we need to stop denying the fact that this is real, because it is. So with that being said, go ahead and get yourself a mask. Anywhere. I mean, get a mask. I mean, go ahead and buy one. They're $5. I'm actually gonna go right after I'm done with this. I'm actually gonna go to the post office and mail some off. All right, I'm Victor Nunley out of Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 321. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.